Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Putnam County Board of County Commissioner meeting for Tuesday, June 28th, 2022, and welcome everybody here this morning. We will begin the meeting by asking Pastor Robert Bush of Faith Baptist Church to come forward to give our invocation, and Commissioner Harvey will lead us in the pledge. Please stand if you're able.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we're thankful for all that you do for us, God. We're thankful for this country. We're thankful, Lord, for the freedom that we have to conduct business, Lord, on a county level as is done today. God, we just pray that you'd give these folks here wisdom, Lord, that you'd give them soft hearts and yielded wills. God, we pray that business would be conducted smoothly and, God, just according to wisdom and understanding. Lord, we are again, Lord, thankful for all the good things you do for us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Bush, and thank you, Commissioner Harvey. Commissioners, our first item of business is approval of the minutes as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the minutes of our agenda packet.
Second.
Okay, you got a proper motion by Commissioner Harvey and a proper second by Commissioner Turner. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we'll move down to item 3, which is really a very enjoyable part of our meeting. And when we get to recognize employees for their term of service or for Employee of the Month. And then also we have some clerk recognitions also. So I asked our HR Director, Sarah Carone, to come up for our first Employee of the Month, Cherie Korn with Veteran Services.
Good morning. Since we've implemented the Employee of the Month program, it's been really successful, I think, and Cherie is a great example of that. She was nominated for her outstanding service as Veteran Services representative and officer. Just a few quotes from her nomination are that she ensures that whoever calls or walks in the office leaves with a satisfactory answer or a point of contact. She ensures that clear and concise information is provided every time. Cherie has received multiple thank yous. Honestly, I have lost count in the month of January. She gets 2 to 3 phone calls a week from prior veterans that have received benefits and even received flowers and thank you cards and things like that. So she's a great example of one of our employees doing what she can for the citizens of our county. So I'm happy to present you with this check.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a picture. We get a picture.
All right, cool, pictures.
Would you like to say a few things? Jika?
Thank you so much. It is my honor to serve the veterans of Putnam County. I've really enjoyed my job, and I think it shows, and I thank you very much for this. I'm kind of embarrassed, so. But the Putnam County veterans really rely on our office a lot, and I just think it's awesome that we're here. And thank you so much, by your grace, that we are here. Thank you.
Commissioner Rawls, you want to comment?
I just want to give a shout out to Sherry. She was the one that encouraged me to go to the audiologist to get my hearing checked. And I did not realize how bad my hearing had gotten. And thanks to her encouragement and her support, and just for all the good work that she does for not just myself, but for all the veterans in Putnam County, I can't thank you enough. So
Thank you.
thank you for everything you do.
Okay. Commissioner Adamczak?
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I just want to thank you for just that you guys are doing the alternate sites in Crescent City and Interlochen. I think that's been a boon. I know in Interlochen that was something that was always asked for, if I'd be sitting there waiting for a car tag or whatever, and people would be like, how come there's never anyone there? And now you guys are there. You have set hours. People can get appointments with you. So I really appreciate the expansion of that and basically facilitating that. So thank you.
Yep.
My
Thank you for
pleasure.
everything you do in your department. Because we have a lot of veterans in Putnam County. There's no question about that. And they honorably served, and so they may need some assistance. So thank you so much. So now we'll get a picture. How about that?
Thank you.
Alan, want to come up? Picture?
Okay, Honorable
right.
Matt Reynolds.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board, for allowing us to do this. Our Employee of the Quarter program, it's much like Sarah said, I am excited that we were able to get ours started, and today we'll be giving out our award for the second quarter of this year. So if I could have Mrs. Caitlin Schuler come up. Something that I'll say about Caitlin is she really is a true asset to the clerk's office and to Putnam County. She goes above and beyond, and that was actually a quote that I had highlighted from what one of her coworkers had said about her. Caitlin has always been so easy to work with, and she goes the extra mile to get the job done. And another employee said, anytime anyone has a question or needs help, Caitlin is the first person they turn to. And when I read these, I could not agree more with those statements, and that's why we decided to award Caitlin with the second quarter Employee of the Quarter award. So. Thank you. And you don't have to say anything if you don't want to. So I won't make her say anything. She's kind of shy. But yes, her family is welcome to come up if she wants to.
Yeah, bring your family up.
You want to stay up here, man?
Yeah, let's just stay up there.
Caitlin, you in the middle,
Staying back there.
right here in front of you. And Laura's in the house. Yeah. You want to bring your family up?
Bring your family up, yeah.
Come on. Gather around. Not so tall, you gotta stand one side or the other. I know.
Crouch down or something.
Even when I'm up here, Matt.
I'm blocking you guys.
We need a stool to get up above Matt, and he's on.
I know, I have to, the microphone's not even tall enough. I have to bend down to talk in the microphone. All right, so the second group of awards I would like to give out today is related to the Best Practices Program. This is something that the Clerks Association statewide has implemented. Last year, when our office was given awards for complying with several best practices, I, of course, brought some staff down. And again, this year, we have expanded upon the number of best practices that we're now complying with statewide. So I would like to have my managers and supervisors. I see Melanie and Charlotte. If y'all would come up. Who else am I missing? Is anybody else? Okay. Yep. Yep. So, the clerk's office is now in compliance with 7 different best practice awards. Some of them apply to public records requests, which Mr. Matt Schuler is handling our records now. Melanie, in the customer service and reporting area, has multiple best practices in compliance, and of course, Charlotte oversaw the submission of many of these best practices. So I would like to thank all of them for their hard work and ensuring that the clerk's office here in Putnam County is doing things the same way as any other clerk's office around the state. So thank you guys. Thank y'all.
Matt has to stand off to the side.
Yep, everybody stand on this side.
I'm teasing. She gives you that look, doesn't she? You're not doing right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, everybody.
Okay, we'll move back down to item B. We weren't going to forget this one, the recognition of 30 years of service. I'll ask Mike Nimitz to come up with Public Works.
Good morning, Commissioners. We would like to recognize Sammy Wesley, who is retired from Public Works. Sammy Wesley has over 30 years of service. He started in 1990 as an equipment operator 2. In 1994, he promoted to equipment operator 3, and promoted in 1996 to crew leader. In 2004, he resigned, returned over a year later as an equipment operator 4. He promoted crew leader in 2016. He is retiring with over 30 years of service, and we are grateful for his contribution to Public Works as well as the Putnam County. Thank you again.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd just like to say that out of the 30 years I've been here, I enjoyed every minute of it, even the 1 year that I was gone. But, you know, I met a lot of friends. I met a lot of folks out in the job that I was doing and everything. And I was raised up to do things the way you would like to have it done if it was in front of your house. Do it to your best. And that's what I tried to bring here out of the 30 years I've been here at Putnam County. I'm gonna miss it, but it come times when you gotta say goodbye. And I really enjoyed the 30 years that I've been here. Thank you.
Mr. Wesley, thank you so much, and I know I speak for all of the commissioners, is probably the most contact we have with any department is with Public Works. And you guys make us look good, and sometimes that's hard for us to make ourselves look good. So, but the work that y'all do, people see, and they appreciate it, and thank you, truly thank you for your service to Putnam County.
Sammy, are you retiring?
All right.
Retiring, you just switching jobs?
No, I'm retiring. I'm going out on sick. I got some toes and stuff cut off.
Okay. All right. Before you sit down, Administrator Suggs would like to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Mr. Wesley, this is directed straight at you, sir. The words that you said here this morning echoed exactly what you said last week at your retirement party. And Commissioner, it was an absolute pleasure and an honor to be able to go out to Public Works last week with administration and some other the executive directors to congratulate Mr. Wesley and wish him well. But the speech that he gave to his fellow Public Works folks out there was very touching. And as you can see here this morning, he's a truly dedicated employee. Public service was in his blood. And Mr. Wesley, I really hope you enjoy the next phase, because what you've done for Putnam County has been outstanding. Thank you, sir. Thank you to your family.
Okay, we'll move down to item D, and that's the Honorable Linda Myers, tax collector, to come forward with tax certificate sale results update. And then Miss Brenda Bridges also.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to be here. Yes, I have two folks here. It's hard not to sit here and be reminded after we had Mr. Wesley speak, but also all the recognitions that were done this morning, remind us what a fabulous family we've got that serve Putnam County citizens every single day, rain or shine, maybe not snow, but all those other weather conditions. Before we get into the meat of this matter, I want to just jump to number 3. It never hurts. We were here last time, we talked about the installment payment plan, and I hope you had a lot of folks talk about it, because as we said, it's a great program. So we're going to start with Brenda, but just give you an update where that is, and then we'll move on to the tax certificate sale. And I think you all have on your desks the conversation we're about to have.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So the installment plan, pardon me, is one of the programs that we refer to as Better Than Sliced Bread. It gives the residents in Putnam County the ability to pay their taxes in 4 payments and still receive the discount that they would get if they had paid in November. So we would still like to encourage people to sign up for that. We don't have as many people participate in that program as we would like to see. The June invoice was mailed out and is due in our office by tomorrow afternoon, or postmarked by tomorrow afternoon. So if you have people that are already on the plan, it's very important to make that June payment. That keeps you on the plan each year, annually. You don't have to sign up for that again. And then in November, or shortly thereafter, we will be looking for people to complete applications to be on for the next tax year. So again, we're just trying to get the word out and try and get people to participate in that program. It's very helpful to a lot of people. We know everybody's experiencing a few difficulties with the economy the way it is, so it's a great plan, so please share the word. Thank you.
Thanks, Brenda. I just want to do a quick correction. It is the 30th, which is Thursday, not tomorrow. So folks have till the 30th. I know your lives are busy too. You lose track of what day it is, for goodness sakes. As well, just in case you have phone calls, because we are starting to get phone calls. Somebody will say, oh, I just made my tax payment. And they'll go, what? And they'll say, oh, yeah, it's my first installment. So now we're getting phone calls that say, I want to be on that plan. Well, of course, that plan was over. You had to sign up for it by April 30th. So if you have people that say they've called and we won't let them on it, it's because the state statute requires it to be signed up by April 30th, and so that the first bill goes out in May. So just give you the information in case you're asked. Before we go on to the certificate sale, I do want to bring one other thing up, and that was your veteran service officers, both of them. Thanks for the comment for the interlocking office. We have a great cooperative spirit with them. We love that they're there regularly. I know it was tough during the pandemic, but they're back, and both areas of the county are appreciative. Which takes me to the interlocking office. We are in the process of expanding that office. Should begin with the deconstruction of the wall between the two in the next couple of weeks. So you should see a change. And I bring that up because the Veterans Service Office, they have been very concerned about their space. Their current space is very small, and it's not private because the walls of their office don't go to the ceiling. And so they feel like when the veterans are talking about private matters, it can be heard. So we are assuring them that they will be on the new side, and they will have walls that go to the ceiling. So hopefully they've been very interested in that, and kudos to them because they truly serve from the heart the veterans of our community. So that takes us to the tax certificate sale. If you are interested, we have more brochures. Please just raise your hand and we'll distribute them. It's an amazing day. It's always June 1st. And so it did go off without any hitches. Every once in a while we have a hitch, but this year we had no serious problems. Every year, June 1st, that's an important date. When I first took office, it was actually always the last Friday of May. So that means it changes every year. And that's confusing, mainly because 7 years later, if you haven't cashed in your certificate to take it to a tax deed sale, it actually goes away. And it would go away on a different day every year because it is 7 years and 1 day after the sale. So now we know that they all go away. We call statute of limitations away, STL. You'll see it sometimes in our records in red, STL. That certificate just disappeared. And we have had bidders who would come thinking it was always this day, and they were off by 1 day. So for about 6 years now, we have been June 1st. So we have one more year where that year, next year, it will disappear in May. But after that, from now on, it'll always be June 2nd. So good information, and also it helps people know June 1st is the day. As you know, we took, if you look at your statistics, we took to the sale, okay. So, oh, by the way, I am on number 1. We took to the sale, we actually advertised more than 18,000, but by the time, we have to advertise three consecutive weeks in May. By the time the sale is, numbers of people have paid. So you will see we actually didn't take that many to sale. And if you flip to page 2, you'll see we actually advertised 20,000, and we did take 18,000 to sale. Now, if you look at page 2, which should have a blue banner on top, just to make sure our pages are the same, you will see that we took 18,000 to sale, that's column 5, and we sold 5696, just short of 6,000. Now that doesn't look like a big number, but it is. Again, if you look at the statistics, we actually sold, we actually sold by dollar value, and this is the point we're trying to make. By dollar value, we sold 82.4% of the dollars that you would have, if everyone had paid their taxes, you would have gotten 100% of the taxes. You actually got back on that 1 day 82.4% of the dollar value. Now, of the actual parcel count, it's very low. It's 30% of the parcel count. And that's why we talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly last time we spoke. That piece of paper that we put out looks ugly. But that other, what was left? That other, whatever, 13,000? 18 minus 6, 12,000. It's actually 13,024. That, there's no value there, or let's say minimal value. Of those 13,000, you'll see on that same chart, the value of the 13,000 is $911,000 in taxes. So that's roughly $70 per parcel. Now, it's not really 70, that's an average figure, right? So it's important to know on that day, you recouped 83%, you and all the taxing authorities, and that is the good news. And it's also a good news for our investors. So if you'll go to the next page, which is the blue chart, and it's our top winners, the top 10 bidders by value. It's very different if it's by parcel count, because we do have local bidders who buy lots of parcels that don't have a lot of value, particularly individually, but collectively they're putting together their own individual strategy. But our big bidders bid by dollar value. And so you'll see that of 10 top bidders, they actually purchased 88% of those purchased. Those 10 bidders. They are extremely important to Putnam County. Now, they are not just bidding in Putnam County, they are bidding statewide. This system in the state of Florida is a fabulous system. It really is the model for the nation. Having said that, as the feds up the interest rate, this really soared when the interest rates dropped. So as the feds, and I'm just always kind of want to give you this heads up, it might take a few years, but as the interest rates ratchet up, we're going to see this not be the valuable resource for investment that it is potentially. So we'll keep you informed on that. But you can see actually on the last column, the average interest rate that is done by every individual bidder. A lot of fluctuation there, right? That's all part of strategies as well. So I've had a few people call who sat through that class we give online and call and say, I don't understand this. I sat through the class. I still don't understand. Why does somebody bid 0.25 and why does somebody bid 17%? It's all in the strategy and everyone has a different one. So, and I say to them, it's really a hard conversation over the phone. come on in the office and I'll go through that class you sat through. And I would recommend next year sitting through it. It is extremely informative. And so unless there's questions about that, I think I've covered what I need to do on the tax certificate sale. The questions I always ask, what happened to those 13,000 that nobody bought the certificate? Well, I'm going to have Rose Wilkinson, who is the lead person in our tax administration, talk about those 13,000 every year. We have every year, and you'll see a chart, I think it's the next chart, that number varies, I think, from 10 to 15,000 that don't get purchased, and she's going to talk about those. Thank you so much.
Yes, part of the certificate sale is the county-held certificates after the sale. That site will be coming up on July 1st, and we'll have about 70,000 parcels out there for people to actually buy county-held certificates on. A lot of people do buy them. Last year, from the time the certificate sale was over till we closed the site for the new sale, we sold 3,059 certificates for a little over $400,000. So there is still money to be made out there. A lot of the investors are buying those certificates that's been held for 2 years, and they're turning right around and taking them to tax deed sale. So it is a benefit to the county and to the individuals who are looking for property. And that site will be open on the 1st, and the site is realtaxlien.com.
So we've given you a lot of information. It really was a download, I know. If you have any specific questions, we're glad to answer them. If not, certainly give us a call. The county-held certificates, 13,000 got added this year, as we said, but that other amount that adds up to the 70 is all those certificates that have not statute of limitation out yet. So it's kind of a rolling 7 years. And as Rose indicated, this is a totally different strategy. This is buy it at 2 years because it can, as you recall, it has the opportunity then to be called the deed sale, the tax deed sale, which of course involves the clerk's office. It's a collaborative between the two of us.
Okay.
Questions?
Yep, Commissioner Rawls?
Thank you for all that you guys do. And the services that you provide have really gotten quicker and better over the years. It's very noticeable. But one question that goes to my mind is, do y'all take the opportunity when somebody comes in to renew the license or tags or whatever, to ask them or educate them on the possibility of paying their taxes if they're a non-escrow type situation? Okay.
You mean to pay on the installment
On the
plan? Is that the
installment plan,
question? Yes, sir. So anybody who's paying starting in January, meaning they've missed the 4% discount and they've missed the 3% discount. Anybody who's missed a discount, we have the applications on the desks and we hand them to, well, first we say, are you aware of it? Are you interested? Here's a brochure on it. But we don't start that until January because the 4%, it's not any better than the 4% discount. So in December, it's a 3% discount, but starting in January, we pass them out. And it is a really good recruitment tool. You're absolutely correct.
And then the parcels that, I wasn't aware that the tax certificates fell off. So after 7 years, if enough of them fall off, does the property revert back to us, or what happens to the property at that point?
It's in the owner's name.
It's still in the owner's name? Okay. And historically, what do you, I'm not asking you to make a projection, but seeing what you're seeing today in the economy, what do you think we're looking at next year? Are we going to have an increase in people not being able to afford to pay their taxes, or?
Well, you know, it's an interesting question because the newspaper called us somewhere in like January, February, and said, how are the tax collections going? You know, the economy's problematic for a lot of folks. And this is a small county, it's a rural county. How are the tax collections? We're slightly above last year. So whether that was stimulus money, I have no idea where that money came from, but we were actually ahead. So, and you saw the amount that were redeemed, even though people waited and didn't get their discounts, we had a significant redemption in the month of May. So I don't anticipate anything different compared to what we've just experienced. But again, it's the crystal ball.
Right.
It's the crystal ball. So I'm glad we presented some information maybe that was new to you in reference to the county holds and, well, certificates having a life of their own. So if there's nothing else,
Any other questions?
please give us a call for specifics. I know there's a couple people out there who saw this and they said, I need to understand that better. So we'll hopefully receive calls from them. Thank
Okay,
you so
Ms.
much
Lindenbush.
again for the
Thank you.
opportunity to be here and
Thank you so
share.
much for the update and for everything that your offices do. And like Commissioner Adamsack says, over in Interlochen, Crescent City, that office is being well used and it's well staffed. And actually, we've talked about this many times. A lot of people come from Northwest Volusia County to use that for their tags and
That's
things
their
like
office, isn't it?
that. Exactly
It
right.
is.
So in
It
Crescent
is.
City. So thank you.
Well, again, it's because of the talented folks that are a part of our family. So glad to be here. Have a great rest of your meeting.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move down to item E, and if for citizens that really aren't aware of the amount of things, projects that are going on in Putnam County, our Deputy County Administrator, Julie Holmes-Young, is going to give us an update with countywide projects. Ms. Julianne?
Thank you, Chairman. Just a reminder, this is not an all-inclusive list of every project or initiative underway by county departments. This is meant to be a snapshot of those of most importance. Administration has the port project underway. The barge port feasibility study conducted by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is in progress. A consultant composed the economic report to reinforce the feasibility study and is pending submission to the Corps. The application for Port Infrastructure Development Program grant with the United States Maritime Administration has been submitted and is currently being reviewed. Staff is commencing application process to the Florida Ports Council as stipulated by Florida House Bill 907, which was signed into law by Governor Ron DeSantis earlier this month. The Animal Control Facility conceptual plans have been completed. The BOCC directed staff to pursue a design-build firm at the workshop held on June 14, 2022. Building and Grounds has 2 roofing projects underway. The roofing project at the Ag Extension Office is now complete. The roofing project at the governmental complex is approximately 70% complete. The Emergency Services Division is undergoing an ISO rating update. After 1 year of collecting data on the ISO rating, we're moving into a pre-survey period. Hope to have the pre-survey completed by the end of the summer, and then we'll move into a 6-month review period. Our goal is to have countywide ISO effective date in October 2022. Information technology has a multitude of projects underway. Workstation deployments are in process. The PC deployments to various BOCC departments to replace aging and out-of-warranty systems is ongoing. Public Works is slated for the next round of replacements. The phone system E911 caller ID updates is in process. Networking is working to update the E911 addressing and caller IDs for the phone system. The project is ongoing. Network security assessment is in process. Networking on a comprehensive assessment of our network and potential security issues is an ongoing project. Hydrant map has been completed. The GIS has completed their work with the hydrant map and dashboard. DES is finishing collecting and modifying any future data. Smart COP map project nearing completion. GIS has submitted their final map for review to Smart COP, currently awaiting feedback for rollout. The GIS stack is in process. This serves as the new GIS stack that has been provided, and Esri is installing their software this week. Data migration will soon follow. Storage servers is in process. Our new storage servers have arrived and are being provisioned for use. The new Tanix cluster is in process. The order has been placed. We're waiting on shipment information, but current projections are in July. Parks and Recreation has the Georgetown Park project. UF IFAS served as a liaison to secure a graduate student from the University of Florida. The conceptual drawings, along with suggestions for completing certain requirements of the grant with Florida Communities Trust, will be presented to the departmental staff in July and then reviewed with the BOCC soon thereafter. The Parks and Recreation has the Flora Home Park Historic Building project underway, as led by the Flora Home Park Historic Association, who provided the update. The Flora Home Park and Heritage Association is happy to report that the exterior of the Flora Home Clubhouse is nearly complete. A few things remain to be done, including installation of the water fountain, mop sink, and exterior lighting. The wooden skirting around the building's perimeter must also be built and installed, as does the handicap parking space marking and signage. The well and septic tanks are installed but are not functional yet, as the electricity and water lines must be run, and our funding for these items are not readily available. Our focus is now to complete the building's interior. We are addressing a perimeter request and anticipate resuming work on the interior of the building. We are working hard to establish a task list and a firm budget for the completion of the building. The price of building materials has risen so significantly that it has created a challenge to keep up with the increases. In addition, most of the work that remains to be done involves hiring subcontractors, which are often difficult to schedule. We had a work day last week and volunteers cleaned out the job site. They submitted a grant yesterday and are beginning to make plans for the Flora Home Fall Heritage Festival, which is an annual fundraiser. They are making progress and attending a myriad of details that make the final punch to complete the building. Parks and Recreation has the pickleball at Triangle Park project. The pickleball court RFP is currently live and is scheduled to close on July 6th. Public Works is working on Fort Gate Ferry Landing. The timber rehabilitation activities have been completed and welding activities are underway. Public Works has the St. John's Avenue resurfacing Palm to CSX crossing at the Palaca Fire Department. Negotiations with the CEI consultant are underway. Construction is anticipated to begin August of 2022 once the city's water line replacement project is complete in the area. The County Road 310 Bridge Rehabilitation Project, Public Works has obtained the submerged land lease from TIF and will be presenting to the board for approval during the July 12, 2022 normally scheduled meeting. Septic to sewer conversion phase 2, the project is complete. Septic to sewer phase 3, the award of the contractor is being discussed at this afternoon's workshop. Sawyer, Salem, and Bull Green drainage project, final punch list items are being addressed. Dirt to pave 2021, construction is underway. Paving activities have been completed on Tropic, Park, and Whitehall. The majority of Norwood has been paved. North Lake, George Drive, South Lake, George Drive, Palm Drive, Sandy Street, Ida, Dixon, Lloyd Drive, Nancy Ave, and Lynn Drive have also been primed and are scheduled for paving activities in September 2022. Balsam, Walt, Cypress, and Atkins Lane are scheduled to be primed and ready for paving by July 2022. Darren Drive is scheduled to begin construction activities in October. All roads are scheduled to be completed by December 2022. Dirt to pave 2022 project. The survey work has been completed. The proposal that was obtained for design services will be presented to the board during the July workshop for board consideration. East Putnam Drainage and Flooding Mitigation Phases 1 to 4. Notice to proceed has been issued in the contractor. They are planning on beginning the work July of 2022. Phase 4 permitting and design activities are underway. St. John's Avenue drainage improvements, State Road 19 to County Road 309C. The pre-construction meeting is scheduled for July 2022. St. John's Avenue Multi-Use Trail, Public Works has obtained the completely executed supplemental agreement 2 from FDOT for the time extension. Construction is anticipated to begin by September of 2023. County-wide drainage improvements, the punch list items for Point of Woods, Riverview Drive, Ida Junction, and the Edgefield Outfall project are underway. South Palm Sidewalk, Druid Street to Silver Lake Drive. Construction bid documents have been advertised and bids are due July 6th. Saratoga Harbor Drainage Project, Gibbs Avenue. Public Works will be presenting a proposal alternative means of repairing the weirs during the July 12, 2022 workshop. James A. Long Elementary and Jenkins Middle School safe routes to school. 100% of the design plans are under review by FDOT. County Road 315 resurfacing project, 30% of the design plans are under review. 60% design plans are scheduled to be obtained by August 5th. The final design is expected to be completed by January 2023. Port Buena Vista wastewater treatment plant conversion and sewer main extension. Additional funds to complete the decommissioning portion of the project is contingent upon approval from the fiscal year 2023 adopted budget. Scheduling for the St. Johns River Water Management District Governing Board to vote on September 27, 2022. FDM has provided concurrence to utilize these funds towards the project. Advertisement for construction services is anticipated September 2022. Paradise Point sewer system hardening and generator installation. The funding agreement has been obtained from FDEM. Coordination with the engineer of record is underway to secure the post-design services needed to complete the project. Countywide guardrail installation, repairs, and replacement. The award of the contract is being discussed during this afternoon's workshop. Countywide road resurfacing for fiscal year 22. The bids have been obtained to complete the project, and discussion involving recommendations to award is anticipated for the July 12, 2022 workshop. Countywide striping project, recommendations to award the construction contract is on this morning's agenda. East Palaca Septic to Sewer Project Phase 4. The completely executed agreement has been obtained for FDEP. The RFQ documents for the design criteria package are underway. The following steps to procure the design build firm and for the design and construction of the project. Countywide Bridge Repairs 2022. The bids have been obtained to complete the project, and discussion involving the recommendations to award is anticipated for the July 26th Transportation Workshop. East Palaca Water Plant Retrofit Project. The bids have been obtained to complete the project, and discussions involving the recommendations to award is anticipated at the July 26th Transportation Workshop. Sanitation has the Cell 4A construction project underway. Cell 4A is near completion. All final drawings have been received and sent to DEP. We are waiting on a scheduled inspection date, and then it will be in use. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Julianne.
You're welcome.
Any questions, commissioners? Okay, all right, thank you so much. We'll move down to item 4, public comment on agenda items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It's not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation on matters on which the board has received no prior information as part of the agenda. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes, and we'd like for you to fill out a comment card, which is at the entrance and exit of the boardroom, and give them to Ashley Beard over to my left, your right. Any individual wishing to make public comment on agenda items at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public comment portion, and we'll move down to the consent agenda. And commissioners, any items you wish to pull, start with Commissioner Rawls.
I have none.
Commissioner Harvey?
Item G, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Commissioner Adamsack?
Item I.
Commissioner Turner?
I have nothing further.
Okay, and I'm just glad that you pulled item I for some discussion. Okay, can we get a motion to approve the agenda items?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move the consent agenda items A, B, C, D, E, F, H for approval, please.
Second.
Okay, we've got a proper motion by Commissioner Harvey and a proper second by Commissioner Turner. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, we'll move down to agenda item G and Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Nimitz, could I ask you to come up on page 57 of your agenda, and I do apologize. I went over this, and item 4 is Commissioner Adamsack District. But the complaints I'm getting, and I'm sure I can't speak for Commissioner Adamsack, but it's really around the Kenwood Curve area. And I'm wondering if we couldn't extend that with a little bit more money to go from 310 around Kenwood Curve. People are telling me when it's raining and it's at night, they can't see the road and they can't find the road. If we can't, I would suggest if the money is the issue and the length of it, we could back up from 20, since some of that's already been resurfaced, coming 315 south. Maybe we could back that up and push that line down around Kenwood Curve. I don't know how Mr. Adamsack feels about it, but those are the complaints I'm getting from residents that live out in that area.
We can certainly look into it and present some options to the board at the next workshop.
Mr. Adamsack, do you have a?
I agree all the way to the county line, honestly, but I mean, I was just out there where that bridge is towards the county line, and we went to explore possibly fishing over there, and it's pretty bad all the way out there. So yeah, I think actually it might make sense to come from the county line in instead of the other way around if we don't have the budget to do all of it.
That's not a bad idea. So, because I don't think the closer we get to 20, it's pretty visible and pretty wide open, but it's really bad out there in that area. So, okay, thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Turner?
Okay, so what we're asking here, Commissioner, is that we move forward with every item but this one today, and we don't hold the whole striping up for the whole county while this is being resolved, or we're just gonna ask them. I'm trying to find out what you're actually asking for, because I don't wanna hold up all the striping for the whole county over one concern in one area.
No, I think what we can do today is we can pass the list, and then on that particular item, item 4, you can maybe leave that one for last and come back to us with some options that maybe, like Mr. Adamsack, start at the county line and work this way, or back up, whatever, keep the same lineage or the same linear feet, or if we can afford a little bit more, I don't know. But I want to move this forward today and get this done for sure.
We can do that and explore it with the contractor and see what the potential cost impact are associated with the different options that are available.
Is that all right?
I'm good with that. I just didn't wanna hold the contract up.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve item G.
Second.
Okay, we got a proper motion to approve item G by Commissioner Harvey and a proper second by Commissioner Turner. Julianne, that's okay? Okay, I didn't see any Any excitement over there? Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor indicate saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. Item I, Public Works right-of-way budget transfer for mowing. Commissioner Adams, aye.
So I guess for this one, this is gonna be once a month mowing, or what's the periodicity for?
Yes, tentatively, it's going to be once a month, starting in July, September, and August, during the growth season.
So just 4 months,
3 months.
3 months? Okay. So my concern with this is we're single sourcing it, so I've never liked that. The other concern I have is, well, do we put out the bid? There's no other,
Everything was bid.
nothing else is listed, but,
Okay.
just like always, if I don't see it, I don't like it,
Quoted.
because the
Yeah,
people
quoted.
deserve to see the data. So if there was multiple bidders and multiple quotes, it should be in the packet.
There is.
I only see the one.
Page,
It's in mine if it's not in yours.
Yeah, I thought there was,
Right there.
you sent it out to multiple people, only two
Okay,
bid,
yeah, two.
right?
we have 3 bidders for each of the areas, and page, the maps are there just following that cover sheet agenda item, and then the Excel spreadsheets, which show the 3 bidders who did
Yeah, I see it
respond,
now.
are
My
there.
eyes were confusing. So, I guess we're just short on staff, that's why we're doing this.
Yes, that's correct. We
Bought
have
mowers.
5 vacancies in our mowing department. There are 9 positions, so we need this extra lift to, be
So how often are our mowers sitting still, or do we have enough people at least to keep them mowing all the time, or?
yes, they're mowing all the time.
That's all I have.
Okay, Commissioner Turner?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've been advocating for 2 or 3 years now to try and come up with a solution that helps us stay ahead of our mowing a lot better. And this is a great attempt, in my book, to get that done. We've made it small enough contracts that people can handle it. We made it where you didn't have to have a performance bond, where small contractors can go and do it. This is exactly what we've been begging Public Works to come up with for a couple of years now. This commissioner appreciates the fact that you did what we asked you to do. You started it in a program where we could do it on 3 monthly trials to see if it works. It doesn't say we can't still go in there and mow if an area gets worse in between one of theirs, so this is just a gigantic help. And to be quite frankly, as short as we are on this, $50,000 for a pass on this much mowing, because it's an extensive amount of area, is a damn bargain over what it would even cost us to do it in-house. So this commissioner appreciates the effort, truly do, and I'm gonna be firmly for this, and I'm just glad that it was put together in a way that was fair to everybody that bid it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'm not sure. Commissioner Rawls?
I agree with Commissioner Turner's comments. Is there any, with the data you have, could you get me something that shows whether or not we could expand on this and maybe take the burden off of staff? I mean,
Yes, we have the entire county mapped out. We have a total of 36 locations mapped out.
so looking at how we would do it if we were fully staffed, fully equipment, and everything was operating versus subbing it out, could you get me those numbers and let me see what it would look like?
Yes, we can get you
What
some
I'm- I guess
additional.
what I'm asking is it, if it's more, if it's the same or less, why would we just not consider doing this countywide and take the load off of you guys? So get me that when you can.
Yes, sir, absolutely. I'd like to sit down with you and walk through what we have together, put together, and
Call me
then
up.
show you what we can do.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Harvey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Nimitz, thank you. You went over with me all the contractors that you did reach out to, and I appreciate that. I will say, I've always said, inside the MSBU's, mowing does exist. So in some of our properties out there, we could piggyback on some of those people too that could take over the load. No doubt, grass is growing. It's growing faster and faster. West Putnam got hammered last Friday night in rain and storms and tree limbs, and it was quite all of Putnam County did, but well, not all of it. Some of it didn't get any, they said, in Florham, Melrose area. But I tell you what, this is a big step in the right direction to try to augment our system and maybe even move that system back to what we used to do. It just got so expensive, but maybe we can get back to that, so I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, I'm ready to move that item I for approval.
Okay, got a proper motion by Commissioner Harvey, proper second by Commissioner Turner. And Mike Nimitz, I just want to say thank you for putting this together. You know, we struggled with the mowing. COVID didn't help anything. And also losing the inmate crews to be able to go before the mowing crews to pick up trash. So now we're getting back on track. We have 2 inmate crews working now and hopefully a 3rd one soon. We've upgraded our equipment, so I think this will, and with the lack of being able to hire and keep employees in that particular department, I think this is just going to be a definitely needed assist to help us get through this mowing season, because I can tell you what's happening in District 1 has been so much better than in the past year or so because of the combination of the equipment and also the inmate crews picking the trash up. So I just want to thank you. Okay, no further discussion on this item. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move down to Honorable Matt Reynolds, Clerk of Courts.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. The only thing I'd like to add this morning is just to wish everybody a safe and happy July 4th coming up this weekend. So looking forward to it, and I'm sure everybody in Putnam County is as well.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Okay, we'll move down to appointments. Commissioner Adamsack,
I have none.
Commissioner Turner,
I have none.
Commissioner Harvey,
I have none.
Commissioner Rawls.
I have none.
Okay, at this point, I have none. I am talking to somebody about the at-large on the Animal Control Advisory that's interested, so, okay, if there are no appointments, we'll move.
I do have one question.
Okay.
I think my personal library board stepped down a while ago, so could we get that added here? I didn't realize it. I remember it from 6 months ago, but someone reminded me just now in the email saying, hey, what about library? So thank you. So I do need someone for library, correct? Thanks.
Okay. Okay, that it on appointments? Okay, we'll move down to public comment on miscellaneous items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It's not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation on matters in which the board has received no prior information as part of the agenda. If you please fill out a comment card and give them to Miss Ashley over to my left, your right, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. So we'll start as how these are in order, and if you please come to the podium when I announce your name and state your name and address for the record and speak clearly into the microphone. Craig Kennedy. Paving Ridgeline Road in Satsuma.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Is this,
Morning.
this is a handout?
I'm here. My name is Craig Kennedy. I'm the Vice President of Cypress Cove there in Satsuma. And my address is 108 Marina Lane there in Satsuma. We noticed that Walt Lane is being paved, so is Cove Road. But Ridgeline is more of a busier road than Cypress. There's only 2 houses on Cypress. There's about 25, 30 houses that utilizes Ridgeline. If you look at the drawings and stuff that I gave you, they've only paved a portion of Ridgeline. And I think they forgot that Ridgeline goes over a little bridge and takes you down to Walt Lane. So, I can see the look in your
No,
eye.
I know where Walt Lane is, and I'm trying to think of where.
If you come Walt Lane, you take Ridgeline all the way to that little bridge. There's a little bridge that goes over the canal. Ridgeline continue on from there. That's all paved. But the main road, they graded it the beginning of last week. If you look at after that storm on Friday, you can't even walk down through there, more or less trying to drive. So it takes days before that water will recede, and then it starts to get the potholes. So now we have to wait, 2 or 3 weeks before they come back and grade it again. So we're hoping that we can at least get that portion of Ridgeline while they're there now doing Cypress and Walt Lane, because it's only 0.2 miles long from Walt Lane to the bridge. .2. Cypress is the same thing. I measured, it's only .2 miles.
So you're gonna have a whole loop there from
Right.
Walt to Ridgeline.
And so
Cypress.
if the ridge line's not done, that means you have to send somebody all the way over there just to do that one little .2 miles of dirt and everything, when they could just do it while they're there. That's what we're asking for. And we have a lot of the elderly people that walk Ridgeline, but they don't walk when it's raining because they don't want to walk through the slush and the mud and the potholes.
Okay, all right, thank you for your comments.
I gave you all the pictures, I gave you everybody who signed for it, and hope there's something y'all could do for us, especially while they're in the area doing it now.
Okay, all right. Commissioner Turner, you have a comment or a question?
Yes, I've had several people in the area reach out to me in the past, seeing as this is part of my district, but, the way this works is that you don't just go out there and do it while it's in the area because it's there. That's not the way the system works in the county. I wish it did, surely do. But I've had a lot of people on Fran and the one before, the road before that, talk about how that there's as much traffic on their road as there is over here on Walt when they paved Walt from Carlin down to Ridgeline. And then I talked to some people that wanted Ridgeline done while it's there. Well, we've been knocking this out in increments every year. We've been getting a piece of it done within the budget of the county. So I understand your concern, but the part of Ridgeline that's not being done is not in as bad a shape as what a lot of the roads in the area are, other roads in the area are now. And so, like I said, I understand the concern, and I've talked to several people in the area about it, but we're trying to knock them out as we can by putting part of the money in that area every year. So if you noticed, we've done another section of that almost every year in the last several years.
Right, because I see they repaved a good portion of Carlin Road.
Yes,
You know, we was like, well, why can't we get that blacktop, to go on Ridgeline?
Well, we've also, yes, sir, but we've also got to maintain the existing roads that we have, and it's actually completely different pot of money. The money that we use for resurfacing comes from gas taxes and a different pot of money than we use for dirt to pave.
Right.
So, anyhow, I just want you to know that we're not ignoring you. We're trying to knock it out as we can in little increments. And I know that when it's kind of like, I don't know where this came from, but it's kind of like licking the Tootsie Roll pop. When you get toward the middle, you want to go on and bite that thing, and so we're getting towards the end of this project by trying to get all these roads in this little area paved.
Right.
The ones that you're talking about, as well as Fran and the one before that up towards Horse Landing. But we've got to knock it out in small increments where we can fit it within the budget.
Right. Because everyone was looking at it, only being 2 houses on Cypress, and then you got 25 to 30 people live that use Ridgeline. We couldn't understand why they would just do just that one little portion of the road when Ridgeline is more of a popular roads.
Well, partially it's because Cypress is a through road. It goes all the way from Carlin all the way through to Ridgeline. And so with it being a through road on Cypress Road, that makes it a little different than, part of the idea is that you can go around on Carlin down through Cypress and then get back to the paved road on the other quicker.
Right.
So I understand that we want it all done. I want it all done too, but we still just have to do it in increments.
Okay. Do you know about what? Is it in the plans to
But
do
if I
anytime
knew
soon?
that, if I could make that kind of fortune in my crystal ball, I wouldn't be sitting here today. I'd be in Bahamas with a little umbrella and a drink.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, sir.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
And feel free to reach out
Sir?
to me anytime.
Yeah, Commissioner, excuse me, before you sit down, Commissioner
Sir,
Rawls? Sir?
First of all, thank you. You're very well prepared. Not everybody that comes in here is as prepared as you are. You obviously represent a lot of citizens that signed the paperwork here. I'm wondering if there's not a chance that we shouldn't put this on, or a reason we shouldn't put this on a transportation workshop to discuss the possibility, maybe bring the folks in and see if y'all would look at the possibility of us doing MSBU, which is where the citizens participate in it. We put the money up, y'all pay it back over a 15-year period of time, and get this in the off dime and get it going.
I can reach out and do it because if you see the roads up there, you have Islander and Cove. That's all private roads. So we all get together and we try to keep those going. Marina Lane is a county road, but the people live on there, we do our own road. We don't want them to come and grade it because it never turns out right anyway. So no offense against but we do it ourselves, and we help the other two people. That's something I would have to bring up and see if they want to do it.
That's just another option. Today at 2 o'clock, we're going to be hosting some citizens that are going to come in and talk about their MSBU's, but it's just an option that hasn't been discussed today, so you might want to look into that.
Okay. Is there a way possible to find out pretty much what it would cost? Because I would want to bring that to them. I didn't want them to.
It depends on the condition of the existing road and the base that's there now. I reached out on behalf of an MSBU that I'm working with to a local paving company, and they said you could, depending on the condition, anywhere from $140,000 to $280,000 a mile. So you're talking a 0.2, but I don't think you can multiply it by 0.2 because it's a small area. They have to mobilize. The mobilization fee is going to be the same. So I wouldn't anticipate you could use that number necessarily, but if you reached out to some paving companies, they might be able to come in and tell you, but they would have to take a look at the condition of the road and see what our basic minimum standard is for road construction.
Okay.
Commissioner Turner?
I do believe that in this area in the past, there's been an MSBU tried to start it, and the people in the area voted it down. Personally, I don't think you should put an MSBU in this area when all we got left is 0.2 miles of road left to do, and we've got the area paved.
Right.
We've been working on it for 5 years now. Now, if you want to go and pay an extra $100 or $200 a year on taxes and help chip in, I'm game. But
Well, I don't think they're gonna wanna do that,
No, sir,
because
we've
they
tried
can't,
it
some
before
people
and
can't
they
afford it.
didn't. You know, it failed more than once for MSBU's in that area. So we've methodically been trying to get us there. We really have. And so while I appreciate the gesture, it's failed at least once, I'm pretty sure of, in the area. And there is a plan to try to get it finished on out, that not just the one you've asked for today, but also Fran and the one before it, back towards Horse Landing. Those two back that way from where you're talking about.
Right,
So hopefully we can get that done in the next few years is what we're hoping.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right,
you.
sir. Thank you. Oh, Commissioner Adams, I'm sorry.
Not necessarily for this particular, but in general, for everyone out there, we only get a few miles, if that, a year per commissioner to pave in our whole district. So dirt to pave is not like a huge, like we're doing 15, 20 miles a year, we're doing a couple. And there's a scoring system for all the roads that we have, that we try to rate and pick off the ones that are through roads, like Commissioner Turner said, ones that are highly traveled, ones that EMS services and stuff are asking for us to do because specifically they're getting stuck in things when they respond to calls. There's a lot that goes into it, so it's not just us arbitrarily throwing a dart at the chart of the roads and saying, oh, let's pave this one. And then kind of like this situation where Commissioner Turner's trying to work on a neighborhood and finish up that last road, the last couple roads. Sometimes it does make sense to go do 0.2 miles. That seems like it's in the middle of nowhere because we're moving a greater 5 miles just to do 0.2 miles, that type of thing. So a lot goes into this for all of us when we're making these decisions. So we get a very little bit amount of miles to do, and a lot goes into the thought, I think, for all 5 of us. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Adams. Okay, next speaker, I'm gonna do my best here. Chris, is that correct? Kinslow? Okay, with St. Johns River Water Management.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Chris Kinslow. I'm a land resource specialist with the St. Johns River Water Management District. Today, I'm here to announce that the St. Johns River Water Management District is hosting a public hearing on Wednesday, July 27th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the community center located at the St. Johns County Equestrian Center in Hastings. The purpose of this public meeting is to receive public comment on the district's 10-year land management plan update for the Deep Creek Conservation Area, which surrounds Hastings. The conservation area protects the Northeast Florida's water resources and is home to a long list of plant and animal species. At nearly 6,000 acres, this conservation area provides a tremendous benefit to the water quality of the Tri-County agricultural area. The land management plan establishes the goals and objectives for managing Deep Creek over the next 10 years, and the district would like to invite review and comment on the draft land management plan from Putnam County leaders and residents. I'd like to thank Commissioner Turner for joining us last week at the management advisory group meeting. Your input and presence was greatly appreciated. Once again, the public hearing for the Deep Creek Conservation Area's land management plan will be held on Wednesday, July 27th from 6 to 8 at the community center located at the St. Johns County Equestrian Center in Hastings. Comments may be presented orally or in writing at the hearing, and written comments may also be submitted via mail or email. A copy of the draft land management plan is currently available for review. Additional details regarding the public hearing are available on the district's website under the Meetings and Announcements tab, and we also provide meeting details. We can also provide meeting details to county staff for use on social media and the county's website. The district invites the county to participate in the meeting as well as help us guide the management of this valuable natural resource. And thank you all for your time. And with that, I'll answer any questions. Yes, sir.
Okay. Questions, Commissioner Rawls?
There is a drainage district out in Hastings that this affects. Are they part of this process before the meeting?
So Mr. Danny Johns from Blue Sky Farms came to the management advisory group. That's a select group of stakeholders. And also Commissioner Turner came. I went and made this announcement at the St. Johns County Commission meeting, and Mr. Counts also approached me about their concerns for the drainage over there. I've talked with our intergovernmental coordinators as well about approaching the Army Corps of Engineers and their responsibilities as far as maintaining it is a navigable waterway. But the bottom line is having this input from the public as well as the drainage district and other stakeholders gives us kind of like a liaison role in providing more information to the Army Corps. I was going to reach out to them this week specifically since.
Is there any impact on the drainage district itself if you're rewriting or making adjustments to the plan?
The plan mainly concerns just our operations in the uplands. So fire management, timber management, invasive species management. So there's not a whole lot that we do as far as the management of the drainage district.
Okay.
There are impacts from our stormwater treatment facilities, like the Dog Branch one that Putnam County manages. That's a little separate from that specific drainage district, but St. Johns County manages two other regional stormwater treatment facilities there. They're more passive in that and also Florida Department of Agriculture and Community Consumer Services operates one on the facility as well, or on the conservation area as well. It's passive. It's either just a kind of a flow through or a small pump that circulates water through and then flows back out. So direct impacts to the drainage district are sort of minimal, but we're neighbors. So to be able to kind of at least have a unified voice. So, is that?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay. Commissioner Turner?
That was mainly the point. And by the way, Chris, thank you for allowing me to participate in the meeting. It was quite a diverse group of people in the room. Everybody from private farmers to forestry people to state park people to water management people. It was quite a diverse group, but it didn't really affect Putnam a lot.
Right.
Very little, matter of fact. I think the main reason we were invited because part of this conservation area that they have is it includes Edgefield, which we have over on 207A, and Edgefield was not really part of this particular plan. It was just in the overall conservation portion of this area. So I don't think from what I saw, there's hardly any, if any at all, impact to Putnam County whatsoever from what this plan is going to do. But thanks, Chris. I appreciate the invite.
No, it was a pleasure having you. Yeah, and it is. It's a maybe 100 acres sliver of Putnam County that's in the floodplain swamp where it's beautiful, but it's pretty well intact. And there's not a lot of our active management, which is really defined in the plan, impacts that. But
Okay.
I always aim to be neighborly in all aspects of my life and want to extend for the folks that do use the conservation area in Putnam County.
Thank
Come on
you,
over.
Chris.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, okay?
Thank you all.
Okay, next speaker, Edward Elliott.
name's Edward Elliott, and I live at 140 Hudson Street in
Could you
in
speak into
Phillipsburg,
it a little bit? Speak up just a little bit, sir.
What's that?
Could you speak up just a little bit? Can't hear you.
My name's Edward Elliott. I live in 140 Hudson Street, Phillipsburg, PA. I bought property down here and running into permit problems. Bought property through the tax sale, which should be rural property because there is a home on it. And I'm fighting your system here with trying to get permits to have electric, secure the property and all that, and it's not happening. Keep on going back to them, and they keep on coming out, well, you need a title for this trailer, you need that, this, that, and the other, and this property's been in existence since 2011. Because the guy that they tax sailed it off of never finished his permitting, they're putting me through having to go have other people lie to come and say that they put this trailer here and did this trailer tie down and all the other stuff. So they won't permit me to get electric unless I come up with this title. Can't get the title because the county won't sign off on the judgment that this trailer was originally done when they sold it at tax sales. It was already there. So it should fit in under grandparents or the rights of it already being there, grandfathered in. And they're refusing to do that. So you're trying to sell these properties off through the tax to generate the tax money. You got people that are willing to come in and set the neighborhood up and try to bring it back to what it should be. And then you got people fighting against them, trying to stop them from doing it. So you're walking into dead walls. And this is one of the places that have the say of what goes on in that situation. I mean, you just want to generate the money here, but you just aren't standing behind the people that are trying to come in and do your properties back up and bring them up to par to where people can live here instead of having to worry about people breaking into it because there's no security, no lights in the area. You know, you ask for the electric company, they approve you, but you have to go through this permit to get it. You know, I mean, we're just keep on walking in the walls, and I'm trying to find a way of resolving it.
Okay, that's what we want also. Commissioner Rawls?
So, you're in a tenuous situation where you've bought a piece of property that had an existing building, but you bought it as is, and you bought it with all the issues that were there. So when we've had this conversation with numerous people in the past, they come in here thinking that I'm going to buy this piece of property and there's a house already on it, and I'm going to be able to move in and get it fixed up. But they're ignorant to the fact that in the past, somebody else has had problems or issues with the property. Those become your problems and issues at the same time. If the place was put there and never permitted, then it's an illegal structure. And there's no way that we can turn a blind eye to that for one person if we don't do it for everybody. So,
But it did start a permit. There was a permit on the property.
But if the permit
the
was
guy never finalized.
If it was never, in Florida, we have something called a certificate of occupancy, which says you cannot occupy a structure until the CO has been issued by the building official, which is the authority having jurisdiction. None of us up here can override the authority having jurisdiction. That would be the building official and the fire marshal. So, what I would encourage you to do is work with the building department to do whatever it takes to get that building set on the property legally, as if it's not there now. In my experience in the past, the building officials have worked with people as much as they have to. They do a lot of hand-holding that they don't have to, and I know for a fact that they're willing to help you, but you're going to have to work with them to do whatever it takes. You're probably going to have mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. I'm sure you're going to have something for the mobile home itself, having it tied down, having an engineer come out and make sure that it's proper. Whatever it needs.
Done.
Don't fight them on it. Work with them. Right now, we are so busy as a county trying to grow. They're backed up by 6 or 8 weeks on permitting. So the fact that you're in the queue is a good thing. But work with them. They'll work with you. I don't think that your problem is insurmountable. But I can tell you, there's nothing that I could do to override the authority having jurisdiction, which is the building official.
Okay, well, then the same thing's going to happen. They want to permit to take the dang thing off of there, and in order to do that, you don't need no title for it.
It's a simple demolition permit. If you're taking off, it's just a demolition permit.
Yeah, but you don't need no title for that, but yet they're telling me I need a title to keep it there.
Yeah, but we're not.
Okay, we're not going to resolve that.
It's already rural property.
Today,
Once somebody
Mr.
lives
Elliott,
in the home, it's considered rural property.
John, do you have a card with you that you can give Mr. Elliott?
Say that again?
Okay. All right, Mr. John Ciaffi's in the back there. He'll give you a card and you contact him and see how they can work with you, okay?
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, next speaker, William Morris.
Hi, guys. Thank you for letting me speak today. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Okay. Got to put it right up to your mouth, don't you? Okay, the reason why I'm here...
Can you give us your name and address for the record?
Okay. My name is William Mercer Morris III. My address is 175 Kolsky, Georgetown, Florida, or 7836 North Laura Street, Jacksonville, Florida. I buy tax lien certificates and tax deed sale properties from Putnam County. I'm running into an issue where one of the properties that I researched, that I bought, was sold by a hedge fund called 5T, okay? And they buy thousands of tax certificates a year, you know, and, you know, I know that y'all know a lot about the tax certificate sales and everything. But what happens is that the tax certificate, when the sale occurs, these hedge funds do not want to take possession of the property. They just want the 18% interest down to 2.5% interest along the way. But along the way, eventually some of them go to a tax auction and they don't get sold. So they end up in their name. In this particular case, a property that I did not buy, the zoning department had gotten a lien against that property. It's at 310 Elm Street. It's in Palatka, so that would represent whoever the commissioner is for Palatka. And then when I went to sell a property in Satsuma, zip code 32189, I had a title search done on it, went through the sale process, and then they stated that there was a lien on my property. But it was a lien that was put on 310 Elm Street. So I said, well, you know, this is the first I've heard of that. And I went over there and they produced a judgment for lien against the property. And I went to the property itself. The building is atrocious. I mean, it's about to fall in. It had no sticker on it. The roof is completely gone. The floor is rotten out in it. It's really a hazard for anybody to even walk in that building, which they can because it has no locks on the building and the windows are out. So I've worked with the zoning department trying to get this resolved. First of all, the reason why I'm here is I want to get a lien release on my property so I could sell it, but I don't want it for free. I wanted to help the county by cleaning up another piece of property in Interlochen where the right-of-way is littered with trash and what have you not, off of Lake Lucy Court. And I don't know if I can get a lien release through the commissioner. The zoning department said that I needed to go before the board to see if I could get a lien release from them, but that's what I'm asking you. Now I've bought other property like on Nielsen where there were 3 large yachts that were sitting there, and I had them removed, and I've cleaned up property in Interlochen because that's basically what I do is I buy a tax deed property, I clean it up, I go and I forestry mulch it, and I try to sell it for a profit. It's about a 50-50 chance. Sometimes, you know, you win some, you lose some. But on this particular piece of property, it was a no-brainer. It's off of Roberts Road in Satsuma. It's a block or 2 from the water. It's a beautiful piece of property, and I'm locked in. I can't sell it. You know, and I have somebody ready to purchase it and build a site-built home, bring more revenue into Putnam County. So I'm looking for you guys for suggestions, you know, or if y'all can work with somebody to get a tax lien, the release on this one property clear across the county that's being held up by another piece of property that I guess a hedge fund has taken possession of.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Morris. Commissioner Adams, excuse me, Commissioner Rawls.
I'm thoroughly confused.
Okay.
You went all around Putnam County. Is the property on Elm Street?
My property is on 00 Belray,
Okay,
which
you
is
mentioned
off
Elm Street.
Roberts.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you own Elm Street?
I do not own Elm
Is
Street.
Elm Street?
No.
Is there a lien on Elm Street?
There is a lien on
Okay.
Elm Street.
Is that lien impacting you?
Yes.
How does a property that you do not own impact another person?
That was my question.
Okay,
but-
it sounds to me like you have a legal question that may need to be resolved with an attorney. I personally don't know what I can do as a legislator to correct this problem. It sounds to me like there may be something in the recording that's screwing things up. I don't know, but I couldn't imagine if my neighbor did something that I would be impacted from selling my house.
Well, what's happening over in the zoning department, when they get a lien against a piece of property, on that lien, they put one verbiage down at the bottom. They say this lien is on 310 Elm Street and any other property that's owned by, that organization. So you have these hedge funds.
So let me stop you then.
Okay.
Was the lien in place before you purchased the other property?
It was, but it's
Then-
impossible to find it.
So, again, this is one of those situations where, and I hate to say it's a buyer beware situation, but I don't know that there's a whole lot we can do without, that's going to have to be done by the clerk of court and the court system to get the title straightened out, to separate that at some point. I just don't know if there's anything we can do.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, Commissioner Turner?
So basically what you're saying is that you bought the property that was previously owned by the hedge fund,
Yes.
and that's how that they got it. So the property that you bought, was a lien attached to it because of the hedge fund had a lien on them from another property who owned it previous to you.
Yes, typically like
Just want to make sure I understand before I say the same thing Mr. Rawls did, buyer beware.
Yeah.
You know, if you got any title insurance on it, then you go see them. If you bought it from a hedge fund that sold you a piece of property with bad title, you need to go see the hedge fund. But I just want to expand on one thing you said. You said that somebody from planning and zoning actually sent you to us?
Yes,
Could you tell me who that was?
Thomas Moore.
Thomas said for you to come see us to ask for
Said
relief?
that I'd had to go before the board.
Do what?
I guess, to approve a lien release.
So we have the authority to
Yeah.
to give you a lien release.
I wouldn't think that we did.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, without being privy to the conversation between the gentleman and Mr. Moore, I would assume probably what Mr. Moore was saying was following proper protocol that we always do when we have these type of requests for reduction, recension of fines.
Rest assured, Mr. Suggs, I'm not upset with Mr.
Yeah.
Moore. I know how good a job he does for Putnam County.
I would assume that's probably what it was.
Absolutely not upset with Mr. Moore in any way, shape, or form.
Thank you, sir.
I was just trying to figure out if there was a misconnection or a miscommunication or something in here, that we tried to do something about it before it went any further. I think the best thing for you to do would be to meet with somebody, the head of our Director of Development Services, Mr. John Siafi. Raise your hand, John, turn around. If you'll meet with Mr. John Siafi about this and let him try to get where this is, and if there's something we can do, and it's something that we've done in the past, you know, that won't create a new precedence, or a lot of times when you try to help one, you screw the county in 19 other places. So you got to be careful of that also. So if you could just maybe meet with Mr. Siafi and try to get to where this really is. I don't know if there's a solution to this or not. I truly don't.
Well, I guess I can bring it to your attention to the county, because basically what happens for tax certificates, these hedge funds are buying it. So you have about 5 huge hedge funds that buy most of your tax certificates. okay? 5T is no longer buying tax certificates in the county. They're actually folding and reforming another hedge fund. They're out of California. They're walking away. So what their game is they buy tax certificates, they get the 18%, they don't pay the taxes on the property that they acquire after a tax deed sale. So that what they do is they take it to a tax deed sale because that's how they get their money back if they don't redeem. So now what happens is you have a hedge fund that has hundreds of pieces of property that they're not paying taxes on. So they let it go back into default. This is why y'all have a complete circle with tax deeds over and over again. What I think should have been
Morris,
done.
I appreciate it, I really
Okay.
do, but we're aware, but there's nothing illegal about what you're saying.
No,
The hedge
sir.
funds are paying the taxes, they're buying the certificates, they're redeeming them for the tax deeds. If they choose not to pay taxes, that's not a big deal, they just go right back into the system
But
again.
the way other counties do it, when you have a building that's falling in, rather than taxing them $100 a day and they never fix it because they have no intention on fixing it, the county will tear the building down and then attach the funds more proactively against.
We have kind of that here too.
Okay, well, you have a liability
We
situation
have
on
kind of like
310
that
L.
here too.
A
Yeah, if you
big
go see
liability
Mr. Cialfi,
situation.
I think he can fix your.
You're good? Okay. All right, sir, thank you. Okay, Douglas Hayes.
My name's Douglas Hayes. I live at 216 Huron Avenue. Before you put the timer on me, and the reason I had raised my hand, is I actually have come across the same situation in the past the prior gentleman has. And what happens is with the city of Palaca, when they put a lien on a piece of property, according to Florida statute, they can lien all properties within the county that are of the owner at the current time. So in order to get the lien release on the property that you have in the county, you have to deal with the city to see if they'll release the lien, which the likelihood, because it's still dilapidated and they probably were in violation of codes because of the poor upkeep of the property, is because the city will not release the lien unless it's where the problem lies has been satisfied. So that's where he has to start, is to bargain with the city that has the lien on it. Now, the other part was that the culture of your departments. I always want to give credit where credit is due. I gave a call to Planning and Development, and Mr. John had a personalized voicemail. He returned my call promptly and was courteous, gave me mutual respect, and even advised me in my better interest. And I want to commend him. The culture has changed in that department. Good going. I had tried to make an appointment to be put on the agenda. I called the 0207 number, received a voicemail that was generated by a computer, so I don't know if I'm talking to the man on the moon, and I have yet to receive a return call. There was a moment where I may have dropped the ball because I did do a stop-in to talk with the county administrator, and apparently he did have an opening on the agenda, and a voicemail was left for me, and I did not receive it. So I wasn't perfect. But the culture needs to change. I feel that that's rather invasive. I think that we should have the voicemails can be tailored so that you know what department you're talking to, and I think that's important. It's good for business. Now, the reason I'm here is really to discuss the communication. The bids are in, and I've done some discovery before you decide to spend millions of dollars. There was a common talking point when I spoke to Colonel Wells and Mr. Grimes. They are intent on a regional network to work in collaboration with St. Johns County.
Chairman.
one of the talking points was initially in regards to how that when they.
We can't talk about this.
Huh?
Can he make?
Chairman,
Julie,
those, that RFP is currently under evaluation in the evaluation committee's hands, and that decision will come back to this board. It is currently, just like all of our other procurements, in a closed status. And so we are still in that cone of silence where we should not be discussing outside influences that may impact the committee and/or the decision that comes to the board.
Okay,
So I can't discuss this.
right. That correct?
We can't discuss
We can't
it.
discuss
You
it?
can do whatever
That's
you
correct.
want to do,
Okay, but he can make
Okay.
comment?
Just
So-
can't bring it to this board. There's a
He
code
cannot
of
address you as the ultimate decision makers. He can come to me, and he's been offered to come to me and talk to me about what he would like to express. But he cannot go to the evaluation members who will be evaluating and ranking those proposals. And he cannot come to the board who's going to be making a decision based on that evaluation committee's decision.
Okay. Got that?
So then I can't continue.
No, you can continue with,
I can run my mouth, but you guys can't discuss it? Is that what it
no,
boils
you-
down to?
You can't continue on that subject.
Oh, okay. But I can make address through her as to what,
Yes.
why.
Correct,
Because I found a
Julian.
way to save us multi-million dollars.
Okay,
I really did.
okay. All right, thank you, Douglas.
I also found a solution for broadband. We'll try to, that's why I was going to get put on the agenda. Is that way I could not be put on the timer, I can do my thing, and then go curl up in my little cave and enjoy life.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you, Douglas. Okay, any more public comment? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public comment portion, and we'll move down to closing comments. County Administrator Terry Suggs.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Just a couple of quick comments this morning. Really only have one, but I want to follow up on some comments from the board here this morning towards Public Works. As you know, we're going through some transition at Public Works, and administration takes the opportunity to meet with Public Works on a weekly basis and sometimes a daily basis. And I think you're seeing the fruits of that labor here today. And Commissioner Turner, I appreciate the comments this morning regarding the mowing contracts, because those are the things that we're trying to do is bring projects back now that are actually doable. And so I appreciate that very much. And so kudos to Mr. Nimitz, Mr. Rodriguez, and Mr. Ladd for the work that they're doing out there in Public Works. I got a text message this morning at about 7:30 from a citizen who put a work order in for a pothole. I think it was June 26th, and texted me and let me know it was done. So the system's working. So kudos to you guys out there for doing that. Mr. Chairman, that's really the bulk of my conversation this morning, but I would like to turn it over to our budget officer and our Deputy County Administrator, Ms. Julianne Young, to discuss a couple items regarding this year's budget preparation.
Okay, thank you, Julianne. Julianne's going to talk about how we're going to move forward with the budget process since we've met with the constitutionals. Thank you, Julianne.
Yes, sir. So it is the end of June. By the end of July, our requirements is to have a tentative balanced budget and a maximum millage rate set. That is, neither of those things are in stone. The maximum millage rate simply states we're not going to go above that between the end of July and our beginning of fiscal year. And the tentative budget simply says we've tentatively balanced the budget. It continues to get massaged up until that last hearing in September. With that said, the state revenues have not been projected at this time. The best their website projects is that they will come in July of 2022. That could be July 1st, that could be July 20th. So we are moving forward as we typically do. With that said, I'd like to invite each of the commissioners for a one-on-one session if they desire with me sometime that midweek in July, as I'm hopeful we'll have any of the state revenues that do become available by that time. And then at that second meeting in July, we will have a 505 hearing for the tentative budget and the maximum millage rate. That second meeting of July is also your routinely scheduled quarterly budget update. So we'll do a third quarter budget update on fiscal year 22 and a brief fiscal year 23 where we stand at that workshop. Please let me know your availability.
Okay, Commissioner Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do want to take you up on that, but I
Great.
don't want to set a date today because I want to get it after you have your revenue set in stone. So I know that you need some, with you as busy a person as you are, you need as much notice as you can, but is there any way that once you find out when that is, then we can set a meeting and see what our revenues are versus our expenses, our expected expenses?
We absolutely can, contingent upon the state actually releasing the revenue. So it's not, my schedule isn't the issue. The issue becomes I've got to have an agenda item and a 505 hearing by that July meeting, and the state is giving no indication as to when those revenues are going to come out. So absolutely, as soon as I get the revenues, I will send everyone an email and let you know the revenues are in. But I'm hostage as much as you guys are as to when the state's going to release that data.
I appreciate that situation, I truly do, but I don't know that a one-on-one would be to either one of our advantage until you actually have the state's revenue amounts.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right, anything else, Julian?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up before we get to commissioner comments. Ms. Tina Hitchcock, we have the 9/11 memorial service every year, and she reached out to staff and just started a discussion about maybe making some changes. So Tina, I'll ask you and your staff to come up, if you would. Good morning.
Morning. Thanks for having us this morning. This is Lieutenant Rust. He's kind of taken over the 9/11 ceremony that Battalion Chief Flato has done in the past. Sorry. Did y'all get that? You need me to repeat it? Cool. Yep. I guess we just, what did you want? You do it.
Hi, good morning. My intention is to just change the venue, maybe something with a little bit more reverence for the situation. What I'm asking is that we take it from the parking lot here at this building and move it to the waterfront next to that new pavilion that the city has built next to the bridge. It lines up well with a flagpole and a lot of other aspects that changes I want to make to the ceremony that aren't going to be any budgetary items. It's just ceremonial things. One of the things that I was also tasked with once I got this AOR, or Area of Responsibility, was we started an honor guard, which you guys have been generous enough to help us get that going as well. And that's also, we're going to debut that at this ceremony as well. So all we're asking is just for a venue change. It shouldn't, if there's any fees or anything with the city, I'm unsure of, but I'm sure that could be handled through some other means. So it shouldn't be an impact to a budgetary item.
Okay, I appreciate that. We just wanted to bring this to the board's attention, just some discussion. So Commissioner Rawls?
Pretty much answered my question. Have y'all actually spoken with the city or engaged the fire department?
I've discussed it with the city fire department,
right.
but I was waiting on your guys' the board's approval before we went ahead and reached out. Director Grimes has some contacts over there as well. It should not be an issue.
I personally think it's a great idea.
Motion or just wave in
Yeah,
support?
I think it's a great idea personally.
Just wave in
Yeah.
support?
Wave in support.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
with-
Excellent. Thank you very much.
One more question. Is there any reason why we shouldn't engage the fire department and let them participate as well?
Say that again,
The
please.
city fire department.
They're on board. They want to participate. I'm also in contact with the sheriff's department and city PD. We want everybody involved. All of you gentlemen as well. I normally
Good
do a
idea.
proclamation, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have some information through my chain of command on plans and how, time-wise and things like that.
And Tina, I think you said that you're going to reach out also to the other municipalities, like Crescent City, Pomona Park, Willaca, and
Absolutely, absolutely.
to be able to participate in that too.
Absolutely.
Okay, and in the city, okay? Okay, so wave and support is good enough for that, Commissioner, Administrator Suggs?
Thanks for taking this on.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I thought this was a great opportunity when Ms. Hitchcock brought it to our attention. Captain Chief Hitchcock, I apologize. So I think this is a great opportunity, and I've kind of broached the subject briefly with the city, and I was telling them we needed to wait to see the consensus of my board. But with your approval here this morning, I'll be more than happy to attend a city meeting as well with our folks here to discuss the opportunity to do a joint venture. We always do a joint venture with them every year here. But The one issue that I certainly think we need to clarify today for them is the actual day of 9/11 this year. It falls on Sunday. And so wanted to make sure that everybody was still on board of making sure that we do the remembrance on the day of the actual event, which is going to be Sunday. And
You almost got to, even if it's a little later in the afternoon to miss church or something, I think you still have to do it on that day.
I appreciate that. I think it's incredibly important that we do all we can to remember the sacrifices made that day by all of our public safety folks and the citizens. And so you got your answer there, Ms. Hitchcock. So Commission, with your approval, I'll go ahead and make an appointment to meet with the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Okay, county attorney is taking a little bit of time off. Any of y'all want to make comments for the county attorney?
No.
Okay. All right, commissioner comments. Commissioner Rawls?
Well, just, as mentioned by the clerk, we got the 4th of July coming up, a lot of celebrations going on. I think we're really going to have to be extra careful this year with we've had still, even with a little bit of rain we've had a lot of dry weather. So we want to be cognizant of that and people being safe with the fireworks and the kids and boating and all that goes along with it. According to the news, we're going to be paying 18% more for the beef that we eat, so good for us for that. But I hope everybody stays safe through the holiday weekend and just enjoys themselves. That's all I got.
Thank you, Commissioner Rawls. Commissioner Adamsack?
Yeah, kind of the same sentiment. Looking forward to 4th of July festivities. Hoping to make a couple of things during the weekend, and should be exciting. Like Interlochen always does a great job with their stuff with Commissioner Harvey and the town there. So looking forward to that. It's always really exciting. A lot of stuff for the kids this year. So anyone that's looking for something, that's going to be great. I'm sure Commissioner Harvey's going to say more about it. So I'll leave that to him. One thing I did want to see if we can get on a workshop or discuss at some point is we're doing all this stuff with increasing our services and our wages and things. One thing we haven't talked about in a long time was what the volunteer fire guys are getting for their stipend. And I think it's still at 4 or 8 or something like that. I'd like to see what that looks like if we increase that a little bit, because the gas cost is, they pay the same amount per gallon of gas as we do. And each time they go out on a trip, or even if they just go to the station and get on the truck, it's just a little bit more than it was before. So I think this is something that we should probably start talking about, just to see how we can help those guys out, guys and girls out that respond to the calls on the volunteer basis. And if we can get that on a workshop and just, I guess I'm seeing if we can see what it looks like if, let's say, we went from 4 to 12 or something, whatever the number is, maybe a few numbers just to see what the cost would be to the county, so we can make a decision on that. I'd love to see us make a decision and give them a little more. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Turner?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to take this opportunity to reiterate some of the things that I said earlier. I think we were all very concerned when Mr. Troxell decided to leave the county. We were very concerned about where the direction has gone. I think that y'all have done a very good job trying to move this forward. I do think we need to hire a new director over there before it's done, but I think y'all have done a fine job, and this, I just wanted you to know I see it and I appreciate it. Also, I know that there's been a lot of pressure put on one employee over there at Public Works, and that's been our MSBU coordinator. I want to shout out to Nilda and say that I know it's been a hard time. It's probably been more than what she signed up for to get us where we are right now, with all the additional work that she's had to go through in the last year or so. This commissioner appreciates it, and I see it. And I just I wish she could have been here this morning. I think she's off today, but I wish she could have been here this morning, where I could have personally told her how much I appreciate what she's done and the effort that she puts forward in her job, and how she goes above and beyond the call of duty that she has to get this done. So, like I said, this commissioner appreciates it very much. I know it's not always the most pleasant job that we have in the county, but she sure seems to handle it just about as well as anybody I know of ever could. So, with that, Mr. Chairman, that's all I had to add today.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Turner. And I intentionally wanted to call on Commissioner Harvey last for his closing comments. This is a big weekend for the town of Interlochen and Commissioner Harvey and all the people over there. It's a tremendous 4th of July celebration, so I'll turn it over to Commissioner Harvey, and I would like a little bit of explanation on the diaper derby and Battle of the Barrels before you get done.
Well, before that, I want to echo Commissioner Turner's sentiment about Nilda. What a dedicated employee who really picked the ball up a few years ago. She inherited the process, and my Lord, she has done a great, fantastic job. And to get hollered at and cussed at and disapproved sometimes, but truly, she's a wonderful human being, and in spite of the adversity, she has shined in that department. Diaper derby, I can't talk much about that because, frankly, it's just a bunch of babies in diapers crawling around, seeing who's going to win to the finish line. The Battle of the Barrels, our esteemed clerk of the court, Matt Reynolds, was involved. His department actually hands out the trophy every year, and it's a traveling trophy throughout the volunteer fire service. And he has participated in the Battle of the Barrel, and that's fun. It's a barrel that sits on a cable and 2 competing water hoses at it. Some of them spray each other. They try not to, but I think they do on purpose. But the kids like to get close. It's a good cooling down time at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or this time at 1. But kind of let me tell you how this thing started for me. You know, sometimes you're in the right place where God wants you to be at the time He wants you to be at. And one year, the first year I married my wife, she had a dance studio, and we were out there and set it up at the high school parking lot. Well, this older gentleman, he was like 85 years old, was setting up the parade. It was really hot, and I kind of felt bad for him, and I went over there and said, "Can I help you a little bit?" And he said, "Sure." Well, the following year, he passed away, and everybody's going, "Well, who helped Red set up the parade?" And, well, Larry did, and so that's how Larry got started in.
Lifetime appointment.
It kind of much is. I hope I don't die during a parade and somebody else gets it, but truly, it's been an honor and a privilege for all these years to help set up. Interlochen is kind of special to me. As a young kid growing up in Francis, we would either ride our horses all the way out or trailer them out, or get in the back of pickup trucks and ride out to the town of Interlochen, where they would have, you know, the celebration at night or all day long. And it was really fun. Sarah, the stuff is in my box still from the notes from 1937, where they were doing the Interlochen July 4th. That's as far back as I could find notes. But it's going to be a great time. It's Monday, July 4th. It's going to start early in the morning at 7:45 with a bike race, fishing tournament. The big thing is the veterans ceremony at the private First Class Robert Jenkins Memorial Park. After that, the parade. We're going to have vendors, games, putt-putt, bounce houses, slides. All this is done at the furnishing of the contributors and the town of Interlochen. And those of you who have a sweet tooth might want to come to the cake contest, because they always sell cakes afterward. And yes, Commissioner Rawls, fireworks might or might not happen. You never know. But we leave that up to our public safety director and also our fire chief, who makes that final decision, weather permitting, if we can go forward at that time. So it's going to be a great day. I really encourage you to come out and enjoy yourself. There'll be a cooling station for those of you who get really hot. There'll be a tent with misters in it that'll get you kind of wet, but it'll feel good to you. But please come out and enjoy the day in downtown beautiful Interlochen. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Harvey. And I'd also like to talk, just commend Public Works. As all commissioners, we weren't really sure how we're going to move forward without the direction of Mike Troxel, who worked tirelessly while he was here, but everything seems to be going very smoothly. So I commend Mike and all the staff out there, Sean, Administrator Suggs, Julianne, JR. We're getting things done, and definitely those things are appreciated and noticed. I would like to just do a shout out and thank and commend the Crescent City Yacht Club. They had the annual Red, White, and Boom Saturday. It was very well attended. They actually are expanding that and started with food booths and crafters at 12. And then also the farmers market was actually in the middle of Crescent City right there too. And that's put on by the city of Crescent City. So it was very well attended, probably about 50 booths there. So I just want to commend them for that last weekend. And this Friday in the town of Willaca, it's Food Truck Friday. They'll have 2 or 3 food trucks there and then other entertainment. And I think that Mayor Watts is going to be in a dunking booth. So if you want to try to come and dunk Mayor Watts, they're raising money for, I believe, the fire department there. And they are going to have fireworks in Willaca. I'm not sure if it's going to be Friday or Saturday, but you can probably go on the town's website and find that out. So, we have a 2 o'clock transportation meeting. Is there any other further business to come before this board? Okay, we stand adjourned.